Why, hello there. My name is Fabrizi. This is my channel where we talk about beauty, lifestyle, discussion. I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's where I want to take my channel. I'm still working out the kinks, still working it out. But let me go ahead and ask you something real quick before we begin. Why aren't you subscribed? Huh? Do I smell funny? Something going on? I mean, because if you ain't gonna subscribe, like, you better catch me outside.
Don't ever do that again.
Do you consider this botch? No. Before you answer. It seems like an easy question to answer, but I think it's important to know what exactly is botched in terms of plastic and cosmetic surgery. I mean, there's a whole show about it.
So I went to get my face done first.
What did she inject first?
Well, concrete, cement. When I had the first surgery done, they sent samples to the lab. And the results of that was that I had industrial strength silicone, which is really a kind of cement.
How long ago was that?
It was in 2003.
Okay.
One morning I woke up and my entire left side of my face was like a boil.
Yep.
And I was in the mirror and all of a sudden, explosion.
Oh.
Medical grade silicone injections in this country is illegal. It is never a good option.
Good old Google provides a Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of botched, and that definition, something unsuccessful because of being poorly done, spoiled by mistakes. Now, that can be a little bit vague. Now, there's a more legal definition of what botched means, which is good because it's a little bit more specific to what exactly does it mean if some type of cosmetic or body surgery was botched. And this definition ties in more closely with the first. Okay, so botched is described as a plastic surgery where the cosmetic result is dramatically different from the patient's expectations or was told to expect. The patient suffers new medical issues that would not have experienced without the surgery. This can range from like excessive nasal drainage from a no job, a foreign body left in the patient, or some type of infection like sepsis, which is quite literally life-threatening. Now, defining the negative medical side effects of a botched surgery job is pretty objective, right? And that's because it can be measurable. Let's say if you have sepsis, you can actually undergo medical tests to confirm that, okay, you have an infection and this is what's going on. And then the first definition is a little bit more subjective. And that's because it's based on the patient's expectations. And surgery expectations can vary from individual to individual and what you would expect. Let's say if you had something done versus if your friend had something done, your friend might expect and want something else that's different from yourself. Now, there is a related subreddit on the Reddit website, which is a social news discussion platform where many different types of topics are discussed, and those are categorized into subreddits. And one of the subreddits, the name is BotchedSurgeries. Pretty self-explanatory, right? And so on this forum, it basically posts pictures and discusses different types of botched surgery type of procedures. Now, based on my analysis of the forum itself and the comments, the second definition of botched isn't really the concern here. It's considering the nature of the forum, which is very visual, every single post has some type of image. Of course, a lot of the comments are very visually focused. It's not like the members actually have medical records of the people being discussed, so they can't necessarily know whether there's some type of negative health effect from a procedure like this. Although you could speculate, but it's a judgment that you don't exactly know for sure unless it's explicitly stated. And based on the comments, the very much so, the more subjective definition of botch is being prioritized. And that's where the problem arises. That's where the problem arises when you project your own personal opinions on what you find attractive onto someone else, and if that differentiates, putting a negative judgment because it just does not meet that expectation. Okay, so why am I bringing this up? Because the definitions of what constitutes something as botched and the purpose of the group is inconsistent to where the group has become something entirely different from paper. Let's just look at the purpose of the group. Welcome to BotchedSurgeries, where we discuss botched surgeries, mishaps, black market procedures, illegal injections, and more. Okay, that's pretty objective. The name fits the description of the group. But let's actually view the rules of the group. 1. No asking or giving of identifying information. 2. No assholery. So no hateful comments, no racism, no homophobia. Just no malintent purpose in your comments. No ripping on someone's natural features. 4. Too fresh. Some procedures need time to settle if they're brand new. Can't really make a judgment on whether it's botched or not. 5. No overtly sexual posts or comments. No minors. 7. No just Photoshop. No popular reposts. Things that aren't marked properly. No animal or satire posts. Post not on theme. And then moderator discretion. Okay. The rules essentially promote civility. It promotes civility when discussing cosmetic work that's been performed poorly or illegally. Yet, on countless occasions, these rules are grossly ignored. Let's take a look at this image of an influencer who looks like has had cheek fillers and lip fillers, maybe even chin fillers. Basically, she looks like she's had fillers, and it's obvious in the type of aesthetic and look she's trying to achieve. And is there any type of heavy filler migration that could make you claim the image and this person as botched? I definitely don't see any. And the comments seem way more preoccupied about insulting her appearance and her style rather than the surgery or cosmetic procedures that she's had herself. Someone says, I see a lace front wig, heavy makeup, and the wrong tone, heavily overlined lips and fake lashes. This looks more like makeup and Facetune instead of surgery. Her features are the same, only her lips look bigger, but she's got the whole unflattering overlined thing going on. Plus she looks like a human My Little Pony. Next example shows a woman that is clearly heavily photoshopped to an extent where how can you even tell if someone's had plastic surgery because the Photoshop is just so heavy. It is not a good photo to deem this person as botched. Next photo shows a before and after of a woman. She's going for a not so natural look with her appearance. Now, being botched would be a little bit of a stretch, but I totally understand that a lot of people do not like this type of faker look where it is obvious that you've had cosmetic surgery. But botched, I would say that is far from that. It looks like she intentionally wants to look like this. But people find other things to criticize her for, about her hair being fried and implying that she's starving herself. Another person says their plastic surgeon should be locked up, really trying to look like a Barbie doll in the bottom right pic. Jesus. Man, a lot of young people are getting extensive surgery like this without looking at the big picture. Like, how will this all affect your body when you're older? And do you have the money to maintain this image? A lot of surgical procedures like breast augmentation don't last forever. And this comment is actually a good one where it's not taking this moment to literally bully this random person online, but actually express, concerns over this type of plastic surgery, I guess, epidemic going on, especially on social media. But based on these images, which are also very photoshopped, this is not botched. This is just critiquing the Instagram influencer style. And because she looks like an Instagram influencer and because it looks like she's clearly had plastic surgery, people are just, boom, it's automatically botched. And this photo is probably taken from a surgeon's page, but shows a before and after of a rhinoplasty on the same day, which is not a very good picture to show if someone's been botched because way too fresh. When it comes to rhinoplasties, a lot of times the tip is pushed all the way up because as the weeks progress and as you heal, the tip will slowly fall. And the comments do not fail to make quick assumptions such as, this is tragic honestly, how could you look at the first nose and see anything to improve upon? After it looks ridiculous and out of proportion. Someone says, is she crying over her mistake or is that eyelash glue? And someone remarks her nose as a piggy nose. And truly, I could show photo after photo after photo of similar examples. Granted, there are plenty of instances where actual great example of botched work is shown on the page, but almost just as many posts miss the mark entirely. And for people who would fit under the description of botched in this example here, people still feel the need to comment things such as, she is a lizard person, that heating lamp is a clear indication, and a comment about her neck as well, which is unrelated to being botched. What many of these posts fail to acknowledge is that many of these people are trying to achieve a certain aesthetic. It is not an aesthetic that most people would like or consider conventionally attractive, but following that first definition of botched, it's not what we think that matters. It's what that patient thinks that matters and what contributes to something being botched or not. This look that many of these people are trying to achieve refers to the bimbo aesthetic, where it's very much a style that is hyper-feminized. I did not just butcher that word, did I? Hyper-feminized. Hyper-femininized. Ah. Okay. So that hypersexualized in the sense that certain features of their body are emphasized in an overtly sexual nature, which is intentional. And it's an aesthetic choice that usually relies heavily on body modification, which includes surgery.
I told him right from the beginning that I was very fascinated by big boob and, you know, blonde hair and everything like that. And he was like, all right, well...
I can live with that.
I was actually really goth when I met him. I just started 1 year ago to transform myself. It's called bimbofication.
Bimbofication.
Yeah.
So when we hear the word bimbo, we think of someone who just is very stupid.
I don't want to be an airhead, but basically what it is to look like a male fantasy, like, you know, have a bit of a blow doll look. I want to look like a doll, but I don't want to be a doll. And I know that is very contradictory, but I feel like my body is a form of art.
Now, a lot of these people will discuss on the forum, they are public figures and are known for their cosmetic work, and they explicitly state their intent to look like this.
And for people who don't explicitly align with the bimbo aesthetic, they may be going for a vixen look that emphasizes large hips, large breasts, small waists, and a lot of curves. Here's another woman who is trying to go for a vixen look again, and there is no visible sign that she has any type of botched outcome. It looks like she does have a tummy tuck as well, which there is a scar, but that is a normal negative outcome from a tummy tuck, and that would not be classified as botched. And some people may even be sex workers, and it is clear that they want to go for a very exaggerated look. I mean, this is a look that is out there. I'm gonna be honest, like this is a lot, but this is intentional. So if the surgeon gave the person what they wanted, exactly what they wanted, that doesn't seem unskilled. But she is a sex worker and has an OnlyFans and very open about her lifestyle. But people still feel the need to comment that it looks like they put her legs on backwards and remark things about her camel toe and other comments about her lady parts. That's a little bit excessive. So in this photo, there is kind of leeway for the filler migration in her lips. However, considering the very exaggerated look that she's going for, that may be botched for someone else, but expected negative complications from some type of procedure like a scar, expected negative outcomes that a surgeon informs the patient of is not considered as botched. Considering how large her lips are, it may not exactly be botched in her case. I think that many of the users on this page are confusing bad taste with being botched and their overall anti-surgery sentiments with being botched. When you look at this Versace, and excuse me if I totally butchered that word, clothing item, it's pretty but ugly. But no doubt about it, it's going to be made with quality, with care, and it's probably going to last a very long time given that it's a designer item. Now, this is the perfect example of bad taste, but it's not necessarily a bad quality product. And same thing with these extreme plastic surgeries where, for us personally, it may look crazy, but that does not automatically equate to a poor quality work from a poor quality surgeon.
So, is it botched if someone chooses to undergo a cosmetic surgery to intentionally achieve this over-exaggerated look? You could argue no if it does not meet that first definition. Some people say for these people trying to pursue this extreme body modification that it's harmful and it's a symptom of body dysmorphia, which I don't doubt that some people talked about probably do have body dysmorphia based on, again, many of these people are public figures and based on what they discuss. You could presume that. But let me just ask you this. If someone had anorexia, would it still be okay to comment things like this? Or if someone had any other type of mental disorder where it physically manifested itself, I think many people would take issue with that. And moreover, on that point, when it comes to body dysmorphia, some people on the forum, it wouldn't be a fair assessment to say that a person has body dysmorphia if they've had one or two things done. Or even in this case, I wouldn't consider this person as body dysmorphic. I would consider her an influencer with one or two things done and a heavily photoshopped image. But it doesn't matter whether the person is presumed to have body dysmorphia or not. A lot of these people still label them as botched on the forum and accompany that label with personal insults that take it a little bit too far.
For example, this image shows a screenshot of a popular influencer and YouTuber, and it's captioned, "Those implants look weird." And for anyone who knows anything about breast implants, and in any breast implant vlog posted on YouTube, it is no secret that the breasts for the first few weeks are high and hard, and it does not look like that in its final results because your body's healing. And even many comments acknowledge this. Someone says, "Are these new? Looking at other posts, her boobs look normal and smaller. Is it possible she's smushing them weirdly?" Someone says, "Brand new implants sit like that a lot. I don't think it's necessarily a botch job, but they just might be new." However, with over 3.9 thousand likes, this post implies otherwise, when in reality it takes several months for breast implants to soften, and this post is way too fresh to deem her body as botched. Here is a recent video of the same influencer, perfectly normal. It is definitely not botched and should not belong on that page. And here is another post with a caption, "Found a woman who does home injections and inserts threads from AliExpress." And it heavily implies that this is some basement DIY at-home beauty treatments with zero experience. And in reality, this post is extremely deceptive. So the photo on the left is literally just minutes after she finished a treatment called mesotherapy. Gives you really ugly results for the first day or two, and it is really misleading to put that image on this page and say she's completely botched because of a treatment she had done mere minutes before. And in the same video, later in the video, she shows what her face looks like about 2 days later, which looks drastically improved. And in a video 2 weeks after, on April 28th, her skin looks absolutely fine. She is not a medical professional, but she has a disclaimer in every video, and she's been doing this for years. She never buys any of her items from AliExpress either. Each video explicitly states where she purchases her products from, and they are never AliExpress. There is one video where she bought something from AliExpress for demonstration purposes, but she did not use the product. But the fact that the person decided to create that collage and make that statement to begin with kind of speaks to malintent on purpose, and just an excuse for these people to comment things like her skin looks lumpy and burnt, self-botched, and those seem to be pictures that she posted herself thinking they look good. So I totally understand how showing this type of content on YouTube is problematic and can encourage people to make dangerous decisions, which is justified to be critiqued, but doesn't belong on a botch page because she looks fine.
And I'm not stating that there is no room for criticism for anything in this realm, because there are other subreddits that discuss things that are poorly done by unskilled hands, and these subreddits are like crappy design, failed, and there's civility in those groups where the actual architectural design and the actual action being done is being critiqued and talked about. None of the comments escalate to personal insults upon the individual behind the poor architectural design, or the poorly performed action being done, botched jobs of what's being shown in the video. And I think that we could all agree if a video or a photo like this, if people started making comments about the person's genitals smelling bad and all that, that would be inappropriate. That would be taking it too far.
So what's the possible motivation for these type of posts and comments? I think this post may provide some insight to the group motivations. This post says, years ago, everyone wanted to be blonde, have fake boobs, be as skinny and tanned as possible. Having filler in your face was an embarrassment. Everyone used to try their best to cover freckles. No one wanted their bum to look big. Now everyone wants massive butts. People add freckles to their face over makeup. People want smaller boobs to look better in clothes. Getting filler is as easy as normal as getting your nails done, and people brag about having work done. Beauty standards and trends change all the time. Don't ever feel like you're not beautiful because society's view of beauty is different to what you are. It's fake and changes constantly. You know, them football net Bottega heels in yellow and green in that. Would you have liked them 2 years ago? No. Remember loving Timberland boots? Yeah. Do you love them now? No. Fashion and beauty standards aren't permanent, so stop making permanent changes to yourself to fit in with temporary society. And I totally understand that sentiment, and I think the pro body positivity sentiments is wonderful, but I don't think that the solution to that is to lambaste women who do decide to get those things done and do decide to make their own autonomous bodily choices.
Basically, the point of this video is just to kind of critique, you know, the Botch Surgeries group itself. If botched isn't being defined as that surgery itself is something unskilled, something that the patient didn't expect, something that resulted in health complications, then, I mean, why is it called Botch Surgeries then? In that case, it just seems like a group where you can express sentiments that you don't like the way that this person looks, and the way that they look like this is because of a surgery that did not meet my expectations of them being pretty. I mean, in that case, it's just like an opinion group about, I don't like the way this person looks. I mean, why do you need a group just, I don't think it's very conducive to have a group just saying like, I don't like the way the person looks. But what do you think? I would like to know your perspective on the topic at hand. Would you still consider these botched? Do you think that, you know, the comments are totally within reasons, or you agree that, you know, it's taking a little bit too far? Yeah, let me know what you think. Comment below if you like this video. If you hated this video,